what I personally so appreciate about Bill is his impatience. There's two kinds of immortalists, and they're both great, but there's one type of immortalist that's like, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen eventually, and it's 20 years, it's 40 years, it's 80 years. But the best kind of immortalist is the impatient immortalist.
Radical immortalist.
And Dr. Bill Andrews is one of the best impatient immortalists that there is working. And in all seriousness, there's a vision of near-term impact that is so important and so exciting and so vital to the whole movement of super longevity, because it's one thing to say it's going to happen eventually. It's quite another to see a change and an impact in a year, 2 years, 5 years, and to see the potential of that. Because first of all, we need those developments, but it also makes this so much more real for people who just can't really conceive of 20 years or 40 years. What the hell is that anyway? So please extend a warm welcome to Dr. Bill Andrews.
Thank you. I got to say, when I first started this focus on this particular research 30 years ago, I never thought that 30 years later I'd be still saying it's not done yet. So when you say impatient, I'm really getting impatient, because it's just got to happen a little longer. I actually won't be talking much about telomeres. I'll be mentioning them a few times today. I do want to kind of give a different talk than normal. And I want to be clear that I'm speaking on behalf of not just Sierra Sciences. Okay, I'm speaking on the behalf of every person that has started a company to pursue a dream to make this a better world. Okay, and unfortunately, I've seen a lot of these dreams get shattered. And in fact, I don't know anybody who hasn't really. Okay, either they've started a company to pursue a dream, the company became successful, but if you went and talked to the original founder, they'd say, well, we didn't get successful at pursuing my dream. We pursued the investor's dream, and things got changed. Investors, they don't share the same dream, and that's one of the problems that I've run into over and over again. Sure, they're interested in how they can benefit from a person's dream, and that's why they invest, but they're not necessarily interested in seeing that dream come true. Okay, they're more interested in a financial return on investment, and that's one of the things that actually prevents companies like mine from actually ever achieving their real goals. And I'm not just speaking, I've got lots of friends that have started companies to pursue different things, and none of them have actually succeeded at achieving the goal they were after. So I'm actually trying to find a different system to work on to pursue the dreams, and especially my dream. So my dream is to cure aging. Okay, I'm not just interested in trying to reverse a few biomarkers of aging like almost everybody else you hear about. My definition of curing aging is what I call the biomarker of the Betty White test. I want to, when patients go into doctors' offices and say, I'd love to see my aging cured, they're not saying, oh, I want to see my methylation pattern change, or my glycosylation patterns change, or my NAD levels go up, or telomeres get longer. They want to see what you see in this picture. They want to see themselves as an old person go to be a young person in every way imaginable. They want to look, feel, behave young. That's my goal. Okay, I want to see that happen. Now, it's not just Betty White. I recently spoke at a conference about 2 weeks ago, and during the Q&A, somebody asked me, like really surprisingly, what's the benefit to society to cure aging? Well, I'm actually stunned by the great answer that I gave. And so what I've done is I've made a little excerpt from that presentation. It was a presentation in Portugal where I was the keynote speaker. But here it is. Benefit to curing aging, benefit to society.
On the subject of how is society going to benefit from curing aging,
I saw a documentary a few months ago called A Life on This Planet, narrated by 94-year-old David Attenborough. And I was actually stunned by the amount of knowledge in this guy's head, okay, that his ideas and thoughts that have been formulated for 94 years and are being expressed. And I reminded myself of something that Aubrey de Grey one time told me, and that's that every time a person dies, the amount of information in a person's head is equivalent, that is lost, is equivalent to the Library of Congress. So it's an immense amount of loss. And boy, I thought, boy, we're watching David Attenborough. He might try to pass on his knowledge to other people, but very few people are going to pick it up. There's going to be a terrible loss if David Attenborough dies. He's 94 years old now, likely he could die soon. But if we could keep him going, I just can't imagine what ideas could come out of that mind of his. And that's the kind of stuff we need to do. We need to keep people like David Attenborough and others that are really good thinkers and problem solvers to really keep going and not shut them down from old age and death. Okay, so sorry I'm not wearing a tie tonight, but that was a question, and there was nobody there in the audience or in the stadium because it was all online. So I even participated online. But the other thing, a lot of you heard me and shown this picture before. There's just a lot of great things that are going to happen in the future, and one of them is finding life in outer space, making first contact. And when that happens, I want to be here for that. But I also, I've got these dreams. I want to run around the moon. I'm actually been in conversations with one of the people planning on making first commercial flights to the moon, and he and I actually plotted out a course to actually run around the moon. Okay. And the gravity's so low, you can do it at a 9-minute mile pace and do it all before the sun sets on you. And that's something I want to do. I also want to stand on a planet someday, like you see in the movies, and look up and see more than one moon. Those are I don't want to miss out on all that. So I don't want to miss out. That's another thing that's part of my dream. And I got to say, biggest thing possible is I love living, and I love people that love living, and I don't want to see living become any less lovable for anybody because of something like aging. And a lot of us, not in this audience, but a lot of people take living for granted. And living is the greatest thing that ever happened to us. It's not something that I just want to see thrown away. This is my dream. This is what I'm all about. And that's where I'm going. Now, who am I? And I'm just going to talk about telomeres just a little bit. Who am I and what am I doing? Well, I believe that the kingpin of aging is the telomere. And I believe that this is true for lots of animals, primates, dogs, cats, horses, sheep, pig, deer. So it's not just humans. And I believe that there isn't ever going to be anything else that can cure aging unless we also figure out how to stop telomere shortening, because telomere shortening is an absolute, it's not a myth. It's not a theory. It's an absolute fact. We all have this going on. No matter what else we have to do, we can't cure aging unless we also stop telomere shortening. So it might not be the only thing we have to do, but it's definitely one absolute thing we have to do. No other theory of aging is this absolute. Now, I said I'm not going to talk about telomeres, but if you want to, if somebody, when I scrolled through, I didn't really see anybody that hasn't heard me talk before, so it's probably good I don't have all the telomere slides. But if somebody wants to go back and look, go to my website, www.sierrasciences.com, and click on videos. You can see videos in reverse chronological order. So the more recent is the first videos you see. And you can hear me talking about all the different things. For those that really want to get into detail and start asking all the big questions about why do I believe telomeres have anything to do with aging? Why do we have telomere shortening to begin with? All this kind of stuff. Click on a video called Everything About Telomeres. It's a 2-hour video, but I've made the first 10 seconds shows a kind of index that's grown here, index of all the different subjects that you can listen to. And just go to that place and you can listen. But if you want to ask the really big questions, okay, and that would take up hours for me to answer, just go to this video. It discusses everything you could possibly ever want to know about what is known about telomeres. And I doubt if I'll even mention, well, we'll see if I mention telomeres again in this talk. Sierra Sciences is in Reno, Nevada. We are a 10,000 square foot research facility. I mean, it's when you come into this building, there's only research. It's like there's one little office for our chief operating officer, but the rest of it is all scientific labs, 10,000 square feet. We have just about every piece of equipment you could possibly ever imagine that you would need to find a cure for aging. We do most of our research on human cells grown in a petri dish, but then we send things out to other labs that would do mouse studies and human studies. Our company is just discovery research. We do not market anything. We just do the research. We are trying to find the cure for aging. The major goal is to find a pill that will make somebody pass the Betty White test. So there's this paradox that I keep running into, and I'm calling it we have no investors for the ideal investment. Okay, we have the cure for aging possibly biggest thing that could ever happen, biggest medical breakthrough of all time, also possibly the biggest return on investment of all time. But why is it so hard? Why aren't we finding investors? And that has been a problem that I've been struggling with for many, many years. And so, well, maybe it's not as great an idea as I think it is. Okay, but a lot of people think it is. Okay, and the people that don't think it is, they're the ones that have never read my book or listened to me talk. And so I don't know. I don't think that's really the answer. Maybe I'm not reaching enough people. Okay, well, I've done everything. I've been in movies. I've been featured in covers of magazines. I speak all over the world. I don't know what else I can do. I've been on TV shows, and I'm still not seeming to find that perfect investor that I kind of need to get going with this company. Another one is maybe investors are really only interested in quick return on investments. I mean, I can understand that if that's what they're really interested in. That's what I meant by at the beginning when I said they're interested in benefiting from the person's dream, but not the dream come true. Okay, they just want to find ways to get the quick return on investment, and then either sell the company for a profit or walk away from the company or whatever. But I do believe there's got to be some wealthy people out there that that aren't like that, and I'm just having a hard time reaching those people. And then the last one I want to offer, of course, I'm going to, Joe actually presented another one, which I got to add to this one, but maybe no one really has the money to invest, okay? All these people that are, millionaires, billionaires, things like that, that are really acting like they're getting interested in investing, maybe they're really trying to just make money themselves, okay? And they're not really interested in finding a cure for aging. And so that's the struggle. And this might sound crazy, but that's what I'm actually beginning to think might be the actual truth. What's actually going on is that a lot of people really who pretend to have money don't really have the money, or they have the money, but they just don't have it available. And so they're actually just trying to make money, figure out ways to make money for themselves. Okay, so plan B. So let's talk about a plan B. That's the purpose of my talk today. And if I had to do this all over again and go back to 1999 when I first started this company, I think I would do it differently. I think in hindsight, I would have figured out some quick, rich scheme to find investors so that we could make a lot of money really fast, including me. And then I would have invested my own money into trying to find the cure for aging, because I think I would have had things done a long time ago if I'd been able to do it that way. If I hadn't had to rely on investors that were more interested in finding return on investments, quick return on investments, than they were on actually curing aging. So the new plan that I'm thinking is, well, maybe it's not too late to start doing this idea of quick, rich schemes. And so I've come up with a few quick return on investment and high return on investment go-to-market partnership ideas. And that's what I want to talk about today. So what I've done is I've created a company called Andrews Inc. And I've made Sierra Sciences a subdivision, subdivision of Andrews Inc. A subsidiary is the word I was looking for, a subsidiary of Andrews Inc. And so, but Sierra Sciences is just focused on research. Okay, research to discover a supplement that reverses aging. I don't want Sierra Sciences to be involved in marketing. I don't want to have anything to do with marketing. I just want to create the cure and let other people market. So in addition, I want Andrews Inc. to create several go-to-market partnership plans or partnerships, okay? And now these don't have to be subsidiaries of Andrews Inc. They could be separate companies that just license and discoveries from us. Or it could be somebody like in the audience here that just might want to take one of these things on, because some of these things don't require any investment at all. Some of them just require finding clients. Okay. Some of them do require actually finding investors to do additional research to get to bring the project essentially out of deep freeze. But a lot of these things can be done really quick return on investments and high return on investments. As I said, these require investors or clients, and then these companies would generate royalties that fund the research. Okay, and so this is what I'm thinking is the route that I want to go right now. I'm not really interested in seeking investors. You'll find in some of my plans, I do have options for investors, but it's only in cases where I retain control of the company, because that's the worst problem about investors is they take control and turn you into something else. Yeah, as I said, I've seen a lot of companies get successful, but not successful at achieving the goal that the founder originally wanted to pursue. So let me talk about some of these go-to-market partnership opportunities that I have. One is supplements to slow aging. Now, a lot of you know we already have some, but we have a lot more that are just sitting on our shelves here, waiting for somebody to take them on. So some of them are already on the market, some aren't on the market. And we also have the ability, if we had more funding, to actually make even better supplements, natural products and pharmaceuticals. Okay, it's not just natural products. So it's nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals that we can make that will slow down the aging process, or some we already have that are sitting here on the shelf right now. Then we have therapies to reverse aging, like gene therapy. We have tested them in animals. They work really well. The animals become young again in every way imaginable. Like I showed with the Betty White slide, these animals looked, behaved, and felt young again. Okay, these are mostly gene therapy technologies that me and BioViva, or not me, I'm not selling anything, but BioViva, Labella Gene Therapeutics, Telomere Therapeutics, which is a new company, and Telocyte. They're all working on these same therapies to try to reverse aging and reverse aging-related diseases. And every one of them's #1 priority is Alzheimer's. Then there's skincare products. There's skincare products, and we have the ingredients for the skincare products. We don't have the skincare products, but we have already licensed some of the ingredients to companies that have created skincare products. And they're looking for partners to market it in the United States and other places too. So these things are opportunities for people in this audience that I'm talking to right now to get involved or communicate to friends saying, hey, we got things sitting on the shelves that are just about 100% likely of making a tremendous return on investment. We have tests to measure aging. And practically every measurement test to measure telomere lengths right now doesn't work very well. I mean, some work better than others, but they're not very accurate. And there's very good reasons. And if you listen to that video that I mentioned before about everything about telomeres, you can hear me discuss some of the problems. And we have some solutions to those problems that are just, again, sitting here on the shelf. We use them in the lab. It'd be nice if somebody would take this on and market them. We just don't have time to do the marketing, and we don't want to be the marketing. Immortal pet cloning. This is an exciting one. This is actually not that expensive, not as expensive as people might guess, but there are companies that are cloning pets. If your pet dies, you can send some of the tissue sample to this company. They will isolate what's called fibroblast cells, turn them into induced pluripotent stem cells, and then clone your pet out of that. Okay, well, we have the ability to first, before sending those cells to this company, making them immortal. And by immortal, I'm talking about just they don't have telomere shortening. They can still be run over by trucks and stuff like that, but they won't have telomere shortening. It'd be a really good thing to see what happens if you have a pet dog whose telomeres don't shorten. This is easy. Somebody wants to take this on, no investment needed, just find clients. It costs, at first, we can do the actual immortalization of the cells for you. That costs about $50,000 to do. And then the pet cloning company, they charge another $50,000. So if somebody has a pet that they want to clone and they want them not to have telomere shortening, it can be done for $100,000. Again, no investment needed. We have cancer diagnostics. I believe that aging is the #1 cause of cancer. But we have I think the world's best diagnostic, and we don't even use it for people. We just use it in our research. It's actually 95%. If it comes back saying that something is cancer, it's 95% certain it is cancer. If it comes back and saying it's not cancer, it's 85% certain that it's not cancer. There isn't another test out there that's that good. Okay, every test for testing for cancer is nowhere near that good. We also have cancer treatments. Again, finding ways to cure cancer by accelerating the telomere shortening is something that really works. So it's the opposite of curing aging. It's actually accelerating aging to cure cancer. And this works really well, very, very well. In fact, most of you know I was awarded National Inventor of the Year in 1997 for my cancer research, and that's what I did. Then we have human growth hormone. A lot of you know my background. You know that I'm one of the inventors of human growth hormone, the original human growth hormone. All the patents have expired, but I've got all the technology here sitting in the house. If somebody wants to start a business producing human growth hormone, I can tell you that the 2 major companies out there selling it right now are just selling it at astronomically higher prices than they need to be. So that's actually a big business. We could do it, but again, I want to focus on research to cure aging. But it's sitting here available for anybody that wants to take it on. Key is that everything I just mentioned is not just for humans, it's for pets too. Immortal pet cloning actually could be immortal human cloning too, and if they ever made that illegal. And I'll bet you money, there's already been people cloned. Okay, it's so easy to do. So go-to-market partners, that's what we need. We need go-to-market partners to take this on. As I said, I don't want to do the marketing. I'd like to turn it over to somebody else to do the marketing. And typically we'd charge something like, when we'd ask for like 10% of gross profits in return that would be used directly to fund our research. Now, all those different things I talked about, they cover a lot of different diseases too. So you can target a particular disease using any of these things. There is practically not a disease on the planet anymore that hasn't been published in a scientific peer-reviewed journal to be caused by telomere shortening. So there's a lot of exciting things that can be done. Look at Alzheimer's is second on the list, aging third, cancer, cardiovascular disease. I want to focus on one in particular right here just for a few minutes, degenerative disc disease. This is a major thing. And you might also remember Harry Adelson spoke at this last RadFest. And he and I talked a lot about what I'm going to show you right now. And he's very interested in doing it. Again, somehow we got to get the funding to do it. And maybe the patients could pay for it. But this is where we would inject our gene therapy, either in vivo or ex vivo, directly into the discs of the spine. And that sounds like, well, how do we know if it'll work? This has already been shown to work successfully in dogs. Okay, so it's not a no-brainer. This, when you get older, your discs get smaller. Okay, and it looks like it's due to telomere shortening. Oh, I did say telomere again. But when you inject telomerase into or lengthen them, the discs actually get bigger again, and that's been seen in dogs. We just haven't done it in humans, and we could get the funding and get clinical studies set up. Doctors like Dr. Harry Adelson are ready to jump in. Again, we just need go-to-market partners because we are doing the research. We're too busy. Then there's pet food additives. You've seen this picture before. This is my dog Dash. We have supplements, both pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, that we can just put into a salt shaker, and you can sprinkle on dog food, cat food, horse food, and the animals would get the benefits of these telomerase inducers to lengthen telomeres. And again, it's just go-to-market partners that we need. And I can't tell you, this is another paradox. I've been talking about this for a long time. People have seen this picture many times, but nobody's come forward and said they want to do this. And it's like, I don't understand why. It seems like so inexpensive to do, but the upside is such a tremendously high return on investment. So here's the list again of all the different things. But if you want to get more into this, anybody interested in learning more about this, either send me an email, that's my email address, or talk to People Unlimited. Jim is especially working with me on this, and so are people from Life Extension now. These are things you can talk about to them and me and stuff. Or you can go to my website, directly to my website at www.sierrasciences.com, and then just type / or click on the link or do / go to market partners. And then click on that yellow button down there, which will take you to the document. It's something like a 40-page document that just describes all these go-to-market partner opportunities in detail. Again, if we could find the funding, aging would be cured. I've been saying that for 30 years. Let's all be there, not just me. Let's all be there. The only obstacle is the funding, and that's where I'm going to stop, because I'm not talking about science at all today. Thank you very much. And I'm just going to leave that up there for anybody that wants to get that information that I showed before. So I think I've gone under time. So what are any questions?
What's involved in trying to show the efficacy of these things in another country where we don't have the FDA? Is that a possibility that you can actually demonstrate some of the effectiveness of these things?
Well, a lot of the gene therapies, for instance, are being done in other countries. But the United States has actually become fairly easy lately, because the recent administration has made it so that treating life-threatening diseases don't require that much effort anymore. And also, they've passed some rules now that in cases where treatment is so expensive that the company can't afford to do the study, it's okay for the patients to pay for it. Okay, so now let's take Alzheimer's. This is why the 4 companies I mentioned doing the gene therapy are one of the reasons why they're prioritizing Alzheimer's, is because it's 100% lethal. Everybody who gets Alzheimer's dies from it in 5 to 7 years. So there's the risk of not getting treated is greater than the risk of getting treated. So the FDA is far more likely to let that kind of study get going. And the FDA has also made it easier to do the studies outside the country to make it cheaper to do the studies. So everybody I know who's actually doing the clinical studies, including Labella Gene Therapeutics, are looking at other countries like Colombia. Some are doing it off of islands, off of coast of Japan. And Telosite is actually pursuing only FDA approval, but all the other companies that I've mentioned are seeking FDA approval and trying to do it outside other countries too. So yeah.
The cost for the pet cloning and immortality is so prohibitive. Only super rich people can afford $100,000 for their little pets.
I know, believe me, that is not my goal. My goal is to do that kind of stuff so that we can get a royalty to spend on creating that supplement that I talked about. That it could be a pill you swallow, it could be a patch you put on, it could be a nasal inhaler, it could be an injection. When I talk about supplement, I'm talking about all the different kind of things that would cost 10 cents a dose. Okay, very, very inexpensive. I mean, marketers might raise the price up to $1 a dose. I don't know, but it would cost my company only like 10 cents to produce such a chemical, and that's what I want. I'm doing these go-to-market partnership opportunities that generate high and quick return on investments, so that I can get funding to create a product that everybody can afford.